say it, are these leaders in the opposition suddenly trying to deflect away from the faux pas, or should I even give it credence of calling it a faux pas, for the way Rahul Gandhi has run down the constitution itself? Omar Abdullah just 2 days ago said that the best democratic exercise of elections took place in Jammu and Kashmir. And today, these leaders stand exposed because they don't know whether to support or to condemn what Rahul Gandhi has said. Rahul Gandhi today, as leader of opposition, is part of the state. Isn't it absurd that he's waging a war against himself included?
I think all of you are being very unfair on Rahul Gandhi. Very. He is intellectually innocent, so discount that fact. Number one. Number
and what
two,
do you mean by that statement for the uninitiated?
So the uninitiated, basically it means when your IQ is struggling to make sense, that is, rather than say you're foolish, you be more polite and say you're innocent. Number one. Number two, anarchism. And one thing I want to say before anything else, and I don't want anyone to interrupt because I was very quiet. I do not doubt Rahul Gandhi's patriotism. I will never say he's not a patriot. I will never say that. But I doubt his intellect. I doubt his capacity to think. I doubt his capacity to be logical. And I certainly am worried that he's leader of the opposition in our country, and more importantly, the leader of the Congress party. The Congress doesn't need more people to bring it down. It's happening per force in a very natural, organic manner. But he will hasten its decline. Now let's get to the argument. If there is any substance to what Rahul Gandhi has said, by this evening, all Congress-run states and their chief ministers should resign because they have no faith in the Indian state. The Indian state comprises institutions. They have no faith in the Supreme Court of India. They have no faith in the Election Commission of India. They should resign. You cannot be someone who is a performing doctor where the operation is successful and the patient is dead. Let me say this today, and I've said this to you before, Navik, on your program. Rahul Gandhi is towing a dangerous line, not only domestically, but internationally. This is the stuff that gets picked up internationally, where people then who have an agenda which is anti-India say, oh, but the leader of India's opposition doesn't trust the Indian state. Well, if he doesn't trust the Indian state, he should resign. He should give up his bungalow, he should give up his perks, and he should get the hell out and go back to Vietnam or Thailand or whichever East Asian country he likes. The reality is, this is a pernicious way of defining the fact that you cannot fight Narendra Modi or the BJP electorally, so you will create dents, create doubts, and create a pernicious agenda setting qua the Indian state. Number three, and this is an important point, Rahul Gandhi has repeatedly moved his hatred for Modi towards his hatred for India and everything that is Indian. This cannot go unpunished. Let me tell you what is going to happen. There will be cases now that will be lodged against Rahul Gandhi across the country where people will use the powers, as Gaurav was mentioning, of treason. To put a case of treason against him would again be unfair and inappropriate because, as I said, when your IQ levels do not expect a certain amount of intelligence to show up, you then use the spirit of pardon.
I don't buy that argument, Suhel Seth.
I'll tell you why.
No, I don't buy that argument. The law of the country is defined. The law in the country is stated. So intellectual innocence does not buy you. Not knowing the law, not understanding the law does not buy you any protection from the law. So stop making this as if, the guy, needs to get some sympathy from us.
They will create victimhood for themselves. You all don't understand. They will create a sense of victimization. Please remember what that gentleman from that political party, Mr. Pasha, said is very right. We are a democracy. But to continuously insult the institutions is what my worry is. I have no issue with Rahul Gandhi taking cudgels against Mohan Bhagwat or against the BJP or the RSS as an organization. My worry is that by continuously denigrating the institutions, he is making those institutions feeble, toothless, and absolutely dishonorable in the eyes of the general population. That needs to be stopped. What also needs to be stopped is that the average Indian belies his faith in those
Respond,
institutions.
please. Navika,
That is my opinion.
I'm coming to you, Gaurav Bhatia, but first let me get in Tariq Khan of the Samajwadi Party. Tariq Khan, 3 times the people of India have elected Prime Minister Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister of the country. Are you now doubting that institution process? Are you doubting the people of India? Are you doubting the electorate as well? When Rahul Gandhi wages a war, he should resign. And just as Suhel Seth said, all chief ministers of the Congress party should resign because they have no faith in the state. They are waging a war against the state. Why don't they resign? Why are they holding on to their kursis?
I find myself, means it's an advantage to listen everybody and speak in the last. Thank you very much for that. First of all, we have to understand that what is the meaning? Why is there Article 12 says and defines state, meaning of state? Because whenever these institutions like the parliament, the government, state government, don't follow or give you fundamental rights, you should or you can approach court. If provided they breach the state or the authorities, other authorities breach the fundamental right, you could reach out the court. So Article 12 defines the state, point number 1. Point number 2, who controls police? We could call them state. So why that police stopped in Uttar Pradesh people from voting? That means we have to fight against
Go
the
to
state
court.
as well.
Go to court. Don't you have faith in the courts?
We'll go.
But don't you have faith in the courts?
But when people who will favor BJP is being made BLO of that particular area, that is also a state. So we need to fight against those as well. So people who have to act as
My friend, all of these institutions are governed by the law of the land. By the law of the land, there are courts that exist. Courts exist at 3 levels, local, district levels, at high court, state level, at Supreme Court. What are you saying? What are you saying? Court जाते नहीं है, यहाँ बैठकर बोलते हैं there is no nation, we are fighting against the state. No, this can't go on. This cannot go on. You are defaming India. You are defaming the court. You are defaming the courts more than you are defaming Modi and the political dispensation and Anand Ranganathan. Is that not what they are doing? Gaurav, coming to you.
तारिक भाई
जाइए ना
आपको
आप राहुल गांधी का सवाल क्यों उठा रहे हैं? कोर्ट जरिए आपने मेमो को 3 मिनट दिया, मुझे कुछ सेकंड नहीं बोलने दे रहे। अरे भाई सुनिए, रंगनाथन साहब एक चीज का जवाब दे दीजिए, एक चीज का सिर्फ जवाब दे दीजिए। अगर मैम कह रही है हर मामले में कोर्ट जाना है, राहुल गांधी के पीछे यहाँ क्यों पड़े हो? जाओ उसको कोर्ट जाओ, उसकी पार्लियामेंट की सदस्यता ले लो।
तारिक भाई
सुहेल से कह रहे हैं लोग जाएंगे कोर्ट, चिंता मत करिए। बट आनंद रंगनाथन, lowering all other traders, Anand Ranganathan.
Let me in 30 seconds, 45 seconds expose the rampant hypocrisy and double standards of my good friend Tariq Bhai. He says fundamental right of an Indian citizen is to go to court. He is the one who supports the Places of Worship Act that bars 1 billion Hindus to go to court legitimately to demand their demolished temples and to reclaim them. Number 1, who did it? It was the Congress. And secondly, when you talk about damaging and waging a war against Indian state, Navika, I want to ask you, what is the single most sledgehammer blow against the Indian state? It is you compromise the office of the Election Commission. And who has done it most? It is the Congress party. I am not talking about how they were elected. The Prime Minister chose it, gave it to the President. The President said whatever the Prime Minister did. Number 2, you look at Naveen Chawla. There was a complaint against him that he was spying for the Congress. He was looking at the important meetings that were going on in Election Commission, passing it on to 10 Janpath. And what did the President do when the complaint reached her? She made him the Chief Election Commissioner just before the 2009 elections. Is that not waging a war? From Nehru to Indira to Rajiv to Sonia, every one of them has waged a war against the Indian state.